with prejudice, with the judge saying that she has a skewed perception of everyday events and she was trying to find a sinister motive where it doesn't exist. And to literally no one's surprise, after losing a 5v1 clutch, she was kicked from lobby and she resigned. She quit her job. I just think it's absolutely insane, man. I mean, like, I'm a YouTuber, right? I live a very, you know, cushy job. I don't have to work in these hell pit 9-to-5 office IT jobs. Thank God for that. And I want to say, you watching this video in a very small way or maybe a very big way, depending on how much money you gave to me or how many videos you've watched, you've helped me escape that. So thank you. I appreciate that. Because Jesus, without YouTube, I'd probably be like a GP or something and just completely suicidal, because GP has some of the highest unaliving rates in history. It is insane. But like, I don't blame them. Like, geez, you can't do anything in these workplaces anymore. Like, there is actual legitimate sexual harassment going on, and you just have this woman like, oh, he put his initials, him and a jumbo genital, and then he ran his fingers through his hair and looked at me. Oh, I felt so unsafe. The thing is, I want to say, I mentioned the humongous thing earlier. The humongous thing actually has more validity. It wasn't sexual harassment, but the guy said humongous, implying, you know, his dick like humongous. Like a big penis. That woman that was chewing him out had more ground to stand on than this stupid BS claim. But you know what? It's insane. Workplaces suck. I've seen enough workplaces in films, man. I saw the first Matrix film. I saw, what was that film called with the, not Fight Club. I saw Wanted as well. Remember that film, Wanted, with Morgan Freeman who gets shot in the head? That's because he worked in a workplace.
I'll shoot you right here.
Well, it's finally come to a head. Much like the Lord of the Rings trilogy being 3 films, this series will conclude with 3 videos, this being the final one, The Return of the King. So over the past couple of days, I've talked about the TikTok prankster Mizzy and how we do laugh out loud hilarious pranks, like stealing someone's dog, just waiting for that PTSD to set in, and then going, Lamau as a prank, and giving them the dog back. And if that wasn't laugh out loud hilarious enough, you walk into the back of people's shops, businesses, and also just straight up their homes. I also mentioned in the previous video that Mizzy actually went so viral, the Met Police in the UK put out an arrest warrant for him to make an example of him. Basically, they thought if they cut off the head of the Hydra, all these like TikTok pranksters would kind of just fade away. That definitely will not happen, by the way. Now, I know Americans like to make fun of the UK a lot, but it's really good to know that we have our priorities set out instead of, you know, sorting out very important issues like housing, homelessness, energy crisis. We're putting out a manhunt for a TikTok prankster. So after the manhunt for Mizzy, which lasted probably around 12 minutes, he turned himself in. Probably because he realized that the only 2 options he had if he didn't turn himself in was to move to a different country or to call Leicester to get his wanted level wiped. Now, it was really weird, like, seeing him being hauled off to a jail cell. The fact that, like, even the policewoman that's taking him away is kind of, like, waiting to be filmed. It did seem a little bit staged, but news outlets have came out, apparently it was real, and he was arrested. And that's where the last video ended. And I had a little bit of a game theory of what could be some possible charges facing Mizzy. Obviously, he's 18, he's an adult, but, like, he's not going to see any kind of jail time for what he did. Maybe he might get some community service, maybe he might just get half an hour on the naughty step, but now we finally know what he's been charged with, and it is pathetic. After pleading guilty to breaching a community protection order that caused distress to the family, he was fined only £200, 200 quid. That's basically like a weekly shop at this point, with a victim surcharge of £80 and costs in total of £85. What a beautiful word, by the way. Victim surcharge. It's almost like you've just thrown money away to get rid of any kind of trauma. On top of that, he was also given a 2-year criminal behavior order, which basically means 0 sentencing, no jail time. It's just certain things you can't do, and there might be some areas of London that you're not allowed to visit. And in Mizzy's case, it was trespassing on private property. If he does that again, he could see jail time. So, you know, the Met really put their foot down there. They told Mizzy, no more stealing dogs, no more going into people's homes. So basically, just like the rest of the UK. So yeah, to say Mizzy got off lightly was definitely an understatement, and that's pretty much where the story should end. But no, Mizzy realised that all the tabloids were talking about him, all the commentary channels doing daily slop were talking about him, being critical both in the video. So he realised he had his 15 minutes of fame. And what did he do with that? He went onto the Piers Morgan talk show to try and defend his case live in front of millions of people. I'll be honest with you, I know if you go on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, the top comment on like a cringe video will be another painful watch. This is by far the most painful watch I've ever experienced in my life. To say that Mizzy got bodied in this interview is a complete understatement. At one point, he gets so desperate he realizes he can't win the argument. He starts plugging his Twitch channel, saying he's going to be doing IRL streams.
I'm legally an adult, so I can do IRL.
What are you going to do now?
What am I going to do now? Twitter, Mizzy is banned, and I'm going to be on Twitch. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch, IRL streams, gaming streams. My Twitch is Mizzy is live if you want to get at that. But yeah.
Do you want to try and come up with a sincere apology or not?
No, I don't need to come up with no sincere apology. I already have my own remorse, and I already
don't have any
to say. What do you mean? Okay, then whatever
To you, it's all a bit of a joke. If you steal some old woman's dog, it's all a bit of fun. If you jump on a Jewish man, it's all a bit of fun. If you run into people's houses with young kids and terrorise them, it's all a bit of fun.
But what I'm saying
you,
to you
nothing really
is,
matters.
what I'm saying to you is, there's been plans to change everything. You're just not confident. You just talking off and you have your own set morals and values. That's you.
No, it's not about morality. I just
Okay,
think,
cool.
I just
Whatever
think,
you say, I'm still talking.
Yeah,
Again, Piers.
Okay, let me
Piers Morgan, I just keep interrupting.
let me tell you, we're going to...
So if you couldn't tell already with Mizzy, the interview was just complete shambles. Usually when Piers Morgan has like a controversial character on, they'll go anywhere from like 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how much dialogue there is. The Mizzy interview ended after 10 minutes. I think it actually got the world record for the shortest Piers Morgan interview. Throughout the entire interview, Mizzy basically shows no remorse, just constantly putting his socials, saying how much he's blown up. And then at one point, he says the only reason that he's in trouble is because of his race.
Tell me about your life. What justifies you? What's happened to you that makes you think you're justified in doing it? You said you know nothing about your life. Tell me about your life.
I guarantee
Because you're black.
Yeah, I guarantee.
I don't give a damn about your skin colour.
Really?
No. Why would you care about what colour your skin is? I just think you're an idiot.
I'll be honest with you, I think it's irrelevant if you're black, white, the Na'vi from Avatar, or even Big Papa Smurf. If you have 3 people walking into someone's house that you do not know, you have every right to be shitting yourself. Honestly, I remember when I used to live in Birmingham, there was actually a viral video going around on TikTok of a woman that was knocking on people's doors at night, hoping to be let in for some kind of support, using sympathy. But then if you did that, a gang would actually jump you and rob your house.
Be aware of this person. She's currently targeting Birmingham. And what she's doing is knocking on people's homes late at night, crying, saying that her mum's died, she needs help. Now, the person that opens the door falls into her trap. There's a group of guys waiting and they're running and barging and start robbing the house. So raise awareness.
Now, obviously, Mrs. Plan was nowhere near as malicious as that. He was just, walking into someone's house, being a bit of a dickhead, sitting on their couch, and then leaving them out. It's nowhere near as evil as a plan like that was with an organised crime. But still, my point is, if you have strangers that want to gain access into your home, you sometimes do think the worst case scenario. I think another point to show how emotionally immature Mizzy is the fact that he's criticising how long the sentencing is in the UK, almost like it's not really my fault doing a crime, it's how short the sentence is. If the sentence was longer, maybe I wouldn't have done it. He really gives off that energy that he's like into the headmaster's office and not like being blasted on live TV to people.
You then terrorise this poor elderly woman, traumatise her.
The story about that.
Hang on. I haven't finished.
Let me
You
speak.
let-
Yeah, because no. Let me speak.
No.
Let me speak. No.
I'm going to tell you.
Let me talk about that
No,
situation.
for the viewers who... No, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
For the viewers who don't know what you've done, I'm going to tell you. So you hold on.
Right now.
No, you can hold on. I'm explaining. Don't just keep talking like an idiot. Right, don't. Let me finish. The viewers don't know you did.
So instead of him coming on and defending himself, he's just turned it into a playground insult match. And the worst thing is as well, he's promoting stuff like his Twitch Piers Morgan viewers, they're boomers. They probably have no idea what Twitch is. They probably think it's some kind of muscle spasm. Now, I'm very sure the Mizzy Defense Army, all 3 of them that are actually left, are probably applauding their TV saying that's a madness Lamau crying emoji, saying how he's like wiping the floor with Piers Morgan. But Mizzy doing this, he's completely vilifying himself. Here's a really good example, right? So Piers Morgan explains another prank Mizzy would do where he would walk up to people on the street and say, do you want to die? And then, you know, it'd be, oh, I didn't mean die, I meant like hair dye, you know, just like classic, lol, you misinterpreted what I was going to say. And then, you know, dressed up in like a balaclava and stuff, you kind of would shit yourself a bit. But listen to this. Look how Mizzy defends himself and just completely wipes the floor with Piers.
Go up to women in the street and say, do you want to die?
The woman was mad. And she,
There were also women.
there was women there, but I always said she was mad.
Right. You shouldn't be saying to anybody.
Fair enough.
Why?
Piers bros, we got too cocky. How can we ever recover from this? So you don't understand, Piers. It was actually, it was a man that Mizzy was saying he wanted to die to, not a woman. You silly boy. We got him, boys. We got him. Mizzy fans are probably up in arms celebrating at that massive dub against Piers. He also did something else, which is really weird, like near the end of the interview. He went on this very weird tangent, almost saying that you see so much, like, you know,
Okay, this is
online
actually
or social media, and we don't care. But then when Mizzy does this stuff, we care. Almost making it out there, if we don't care about actual tragedies going on currently, then we're a hypocrite.
People are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them. Everyone acts like they have this persona that they don't care. Social media is a facade, this, that, and the other. But when Lee comes out and does the mad thing, everyone has something to say.
Mad thing.
It's the mad thing.
It's something
You already said it's the mad thing. It's the mad thing.
No, it's not mad. It's moronic.
So yeah, apparently you're a hypocrite for going after Mizzy now, despite him promoting one of the most toxic ways of living possible by just harassing everyone around him for clout and content. You know, honestly, I'm pretty happy that the Mizzy interview wrapped up after 10 minutes, because if it went on any longer, he'd probably go on to say that, why haven't we stopped Putin? Why are you going after me? Why'd you care about me if Putin's doing bad stuff? Why don't we stop him first? But yeah, that's pretty much everything. I just wanted to kind of conclude the Mizzy trilogy. I don't think there's any more kind of content that's going to come out of this that's going to be worth covering in a video. The fine was embarrassingly terrible, but then also the fact that he embarrassed himself on... Things really haven't been going good for Microsoft at the minute. They've been taking L after L. For example, that failed merger with Activision Blizzard that would have got them billions of dollars and maybe even made Call of Duty a timed exclusive so everyone would have bought an Xbox. Because believe me when I say, no one in the current year is buying an Xbox. And then Microsoft thought, okay, let's gobble up every video game company with They got Bethesda, they got Arcade, they made Redfall, and IGN gave Redfall a 1 out of 10. I have never seen IGN give a game such a low score, apart from Call of Duty, when the prize money was right. But today, I'm going to take you on a journey before the Xbox Series X, before the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, when the Xbox actually had games. Now, you might remember with the 360, there was a Kinect, little motion sensor thing, kind of like the Wii, without the nunchucks. Well, it's a very weird game that's promised to come out, and it's revolutionize everything. The game is a huge lie, and for the most part, it's been swept under the rug. I remember Project Milo, and it's really, really interesting. Okay, I won't say too much because I'm sure this guy will give the whole context, but I've got a lot to add. There's a lot of slop. There's a lot of slop here. Micro slop.
This video.
If any of you think this kid looks like he's from Heavy Rain, I'm so sorry. So they showed a tech demo for Project Milo, where they have this like British woman that she goes up to the TV and she's like,
Hello, Barlow. How are you doing?
and then the kid's like,
Doing good. Yeah, I just paid my penny license.
and it is so obviously fake, and it's obvious that she's just reacting to a pre-rendered video. Like, it's not fake. But then you got people being like, did you notice how she looked at the screen and then he looked back and genuinely? It's like, how would it know when you're looking? You're looking at the TV, you're not looking at the camera. I'm like, yeah, idiot. That's a
So they showed a tech demo for Project Milo, right? About this like British woman when she goes up to the TV. It's like,
Oh, hello, Barlow. How you doing?
and then the kid's like,
Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah, I just paid my tennis lessons. Yeah.
and it is so obviously fake, and it's obvious that she's just reacting to a pre-rendered video. Like it's not real. But then you got people being like,
Bro, oh my god, just